Hi guys, this video is going to be for my sun, moon, rising Aries. We're going to be talking about predictions that you can potentially expect to manifest happen for you guys, whether it's internally or externally for the month of September. So what you guys are currently looking at is the energy you can expect to be feeling walking into the month of September, okay? So I'm going to update these transits as we get to it. So let's do it. September 1st, Uranus goes retrograde in Taurus in your second house. So what do I think this means? First of all, I like Uranus going retrograde because to me, when these epiphanies happen that can feel like tower-like moments, basically the challenge here, like the karmic test from the universe, spirit, whatever it is you believe in, it's asking you to go within and think about how you want to handle the situation. So for those of you that don't handle disruptions the best, I really feel like it'll be more of an introspection period on this topic. So when something unexpectedly happens that feels like a tower-like moment, I think instead of reacting or, what I feel like we as Aries can be like is a little bit over the top, like very dramatic. And I'm not saying it's not always like needed, or I want to say it's not that we shouldn't, it's not that we don't have a right to feel the way we do when these things happen, but you're being asked to balance out your energy is how I want to phrase this. It's really about balance. These things that could definitely be tower-like moments, a disruption, it's like instead of reacting, responding, or, thinking you have to act on impulse, this is asking you to go within and really be rational about whatever topic is going on. So, for example, this is happening in our second house in Taurus. Second house asks us, what do we value? So with the second and eighth house access, there is this spiritual realm versus, the material realm. And I think the overall goal for everyone while living is to balance out all energies. But it's not easy, right? So there will be, I feel like, some type of moment or several moments or just an energy in general while Uranus is in retrograde where we are going to really be thinking about our wallet, our finances. How do we spend money and what are we spending money on? Do we value money? Do we honor the sacred energy between ourselves and money? Because money is an energy that should be respected if you really do think about it, right? I feel like most Aries, because we're so passionate and a little bit naive, we feel like we can spend money on whatever it is we want to, whether it's because we worked hard for it or because we really, really want it, whatever it is. Are we spending too much? Like, for example, today I treated myself. That's also another line I feel like for Aries with money, treating yourself. I treated myself to Dunkin' Donuts this morning, and I've been better with spending on the weekends for breakfast. Because I always go through these cycles where it's like, okay, I'm just going to eat from home. And like, when I do that, I feel good. And honestly, like, fast food or just things, like Dunkin', just don't seem as appealing to me. And I like the fact that I have extra money in my wallet. But today I was like, you know what, I want to treat myself. And I got a donut as a treat as well. And then as I was walking away, I saw this other donut. And I was like, oh man, I wish I saw that first. That donut looks so good. I really want to try it. And instead of just walking away and dealing with it, like I legitimately went back online and I bought the second donut. And when I got home, I felt so stupid. I'm like, here I am with 2 donuts. I know damn well I'm not going to even eat the second donut today, which means it's going to be hard, crusty, and gross the next day. So I pretty much wasted like yeah, okay, maybe it's like $2 or close to $2. It's not that expensive. That's also, I feel like, how Aries think when they spend their money. But that stuff does add up, and also it's a mentality. So it's like, now I know because I splurged with that, you know, and yeah, okay, I'm using like a small, not the biggest grand, you know, type of example, but still, it's like, I now may do that again or think I can do that again because it's not that much money, but then it adds up at the end of the month, right? So, and I think it's funny that it did happen today and Uranus went retrograde in our second house. So, do you respect money? Do you value how you make your money? Do you value what you spend your money on? Also, the second house is not just about money. It's literally about what it is you value in your life. So I think because Venus rules Taurus, right? This is going to affect us wherever Venus is transiting. So Venus currently, as I'm recording this, is in Libra in our 7th house. So I think not only are we going to be thinking about money and how we spend it, or how we spend it with other people, like whether it's business partnerships or having some type of connection with someone where they're able to get you goods, some type of trade, whatever it is. Like, do you value whatever it is you're trying to, whatever it is you're spending money on? But also I think relationships in general, because Venus is exalted in Libra. Venus rules Taurus and it also rules Libra. And it's more feminine when it's in Libra versus Venus in Taurus. There's more of a masculine energy despite Venus ruling Taurus. So I think we're going to be going within when it comes to relationships as well. What do we value in relationships? And this is going to be stemming from the South Node and Juno being in Libra. South Node talks about the past, so our past experiences and relationships, and what do we want? Because the North Node is in the 1st house, Aries, I am energy, right? And due to Chiron being in retrograde in the 1st house in Aries, it's going to stem from past wounds, things that we're currently trying to heal, whether we're consciously aware of it or not. And it's going to stem around relationships. What do we want this time around? What do we not want? What have we learned? Okay. Juno is soulmate energy. So what do we look for, not just in like a potential love partner, but also business partnerships? And even if it's not a legitimate partner that you have gone, 50-50 with in a business, who do you guys do business with? Now, it could be, let's say, your friends. Maybe you have that one friend that is always fronting you money. Like, I'm so bad with carrying cash on me. I 9 out of 10 times don't have it. So when my friends want to do something unexpected, and let's say it's only cash, like cash only places that they want to go to, or for whatever reason you need cash on you, whether it's to split the bill or something. And it's like, it seems to be like I'm always an inconvenience when it comes to money and friends, I feel like. And they may not feel this way, but I feel like I'm like this, because it's like, oh, can you pay this up front and I'll Venmo you right now? And yeah, even though I'm good like that, I'm the person that pays you back. You don't have to follow back with me. Do I like that? Like, do I want to focus in on being smarter with having at least, maybe $20 cash on me at all times? So when I say this, I'm using this as an example of, it's not just business partnerships, but it could just be people in general that you randomly have some type of quote unquote commitment to, whether it's exchange in goods or money. Are these like people that you value when it comes to these type of connections, these type of relationships? So yeah, I think you guys will be going within because Uranus going retrograde here. When I think of Libra energy, I also think of 50-50. I think of compromising, because this is ultimately what gives harmony in relationships, is kind of like opposition energy with the Aries and Libra axis, where it's like, what do you want, but what does the other person want? And if you guys are at odds, can you guys come together to create harmony? So therefore, it's like, what do you need to compromise? Okay, that's something I also think about, that may not feel like such a tower-like moment, but more like a reality check. Okay. So yeah, I do think that's how it's going to be affecting you. What else? What else? What else? Uranus rules Aquarius. So, so again, you're going to be thinking about reflection. You're going to reflect on how you spend your money. Are you good with money? What is your relationship with money? But also the same thing applies for relationships, love interests, people you have some type of commitment to. I think also, what do you guys value when it comes to friends? Pluto is going to be going back in Capricorn. So I'm going to ignore Pluto being in Aquarius in retrograde. So I think you guys are also going to be thinking about your friends, but also for some of you, like doing business with friends. Again, doesn't mean a literal business. It could be like, oh, I'll spot you for this movie ticket and you pay me back. Something like that. There's just something owed. So I think you guys may be reflecting on that as well. Friendships. You guys also may be thinking about how you guys speak on the internet, because Taurus, the throat chakra rules Taurus. So you guys may be going within, a little more introspection during this time. The same applies for actual, like your group of friends or social networking. You may go not mute, but just more quiet is what I think of. Yeah. Okay. So that same day on September 1st, Pluto goes into Capricorn. So it's going back into Capricorn. Dun, dun, dun. And it's staying in retrograde. What do I think this means? What do I think you guys will be feeling? So I know everybody keeps talking about it like, oh, it's, you know, since 2008, Pluto was in Capricorn, right? So I'm going to jump on the bandwagon there as well. What have you guys, like overall general energy? What have you accomplished since 2008, and what have you not accomplished that you've been wanting to, meaning to? For some of you, I think it could be like a stable relationship. I think it could be, I honestly think, and the reason I'm saying a stable relationship is because Capricorn is talking about longevity, I feel like, in my opinion, like building something and making it last. Okay, that's how we have legacies, right? And Capricorn energy is a legacy. It's also popularity. I feel like you're popular or well known for something. This is how other people are seeing you guys as well with the 10th house here, because it's a very public house. So how are you guys seen? So think back from 2008 to now, and I know obviously that's asking a lot, but I think what can help you guys out is by asking yourself, what have you accomplished and what have you not accomplished? It could be a bunch of different things, right? But what's the overall energy? I think for Aries, it's going to be about status. What does status mean to you? Does it mean the same thing anymore as it once did? And I know that's so like vague in a sense, because 2008, you guys probably have gone through it all since then. I mean, how could you not have? But what really stands out is what I want to say. So I think as an Aries, because it's happening in our 10th house, it does have to do with who we are and how people view us. I think that's the downside to Capricorn energy, is that like it does care how it appears. But do you guys care? Is that something you guys like cared about in 2008 and now it just doesn't have the same, it doesn't hold the same value anymore? So you guys have Scorpio in your 8th house. So I think this is going to be more of an internal reflection. It's going to be internal for most of us. I'm saying that because Pluto traditionally rules Scorpio. And if you have it in your 8th house, this is talking about what's going on internally in your world. Yes, it could have something to do with what's going on behind your back as well. I think with the 8th house, this can also be speaking about intimacy. So for some of you, this may be literally collaborating, having people that you trust when it comes to business. For some of you, you guys may want like intimate you guys may want to be seen as like a powerful person. I definitely think of a powerful person with Pluto being in the 10th house in Capricorn. But I also think of coming into power with like coming into power in a way that feels powerful to you guys. It may not be so quote unquote traditional like you once thought you wanted to appear, or how you once felt about whatever it is you wanted to be remembered for, or however you wanted to be seen. That may have transformed, that may have changed. There may have been like a death and a rebirth when it comes to your status. Literally, I think there would have been a death and a rebirth to your status. But also like, does this matter to you? Okay. If it does, then I think for some of you guys, this is going to be manifesting with quote unquote finishing the job, for those of you guys that have not gotten this yet. So like, I think about, for me as an Aries with Pluto being in Capricorn, around 2008, it was more so where I cared about building something legitimately. Maybe I wouldn't have phrased it that way, but I definitely wanted to, like, I always wanted to be a business owner. I always wanted to be a boss. I always saw that for myself a majority of my life, since I was at least 11 or 12 years old, if not a little bit earlier. But definitely because 2008, this was, I think, a year after high school for me. And I was already in college, but it's like things were changing in that aspect as to how I saw myself getting my education. So I decided last minute, instead of to go to a university, to save money and go to a community college instead. To me, you know, that hurt my pride because it didn't match what I always saw for myself. And I would recommend not only a community college to anyone, but a trade school as well. So that has changed in my life. But back then, this was dramatic for me. This was like, wow, I'm not proud of where I'm going to school. I am not the person I thought I would be. And this was like, I'm going to say I was probably 18. Yeah, this makes sense. 18 years old. And like looking back, like I get it because I understand all the different versions of me growing up. Like I truly understand her to a T. Like I understand why she was a bitch then, or why she was sad, why she was angry, why she was so happy, why she was living her best life. Like even if I don't agree with those phases anymore, I get her. So, and I would have been convinced back then in 2008 that the community college being on my resume was going to hurt me. And I remember thinking to myself, like, I will never tell them I went to community college. I'm just going to leave the university that I graduated from on my resume. So when I do start applying for careers, like, they're only going to see that. Like, I really cared a lot. And to be honest with you, like, getting, knowing how your resume should look, you don't want to list every single school anyway. You want that resume to be short and simple and to the point. So even though I still wouldn't list the community college to this day, it's because it's unnecessary. It's not because, oh my God, I don't want them to know. Like, I think of this as, this topic doesn't even come up in conversation. Like nobody asks like, oh, did you transfer? Like that's not even a thing. But back then I really, really cared. I don't give a shit anymore. I just don't. However, what I still care about is my status. I do. I have a stellium in Capricorn. So it's like, it would be going against my own energy. Like, that I was born with, which pushes me to always strive to do better and to have some type of status in this world. So it's like I still care, and even though I definitely started exactly what it was I wanted when it came to being my own boss, having my own business, I'm still not where I want to be. It may externally look like I have status, which it does to some people who truly don't know me. And I got to be honest, like, yeah, I'm embarrassed to admit it, but it's a little bit comforting to know that I appear that way, but I don't internally have the status. I know I don't, because I know my own money. I know my own situation. I know my own life. So I'm still definitely pushing to get where I want to be when it comes to this. So since I think of Pluto as a boss, as a leader, as a transformational energy that is constantly dealing with something must die in order for something to happen and be created. Oh my God, I keep touching the fucking camera. Sorry. I'm definitely still trying to get to the top of the mountain, just like the goat for Capricorn, right? And I think for a lot of us, because Saturn rules Capricorn and it's currently in retrograde, in our 12th house in Pisces, when I think of this is trying to materialize the dream, trying to literally make it happen on the physical plane and leave our mind. We're trying to legitimately manifest, okay? So I think we're going to be trying to, for those of us who did not finish this, when it comes to our career, that's what we're still striving for. And it's probably, I would say, most definitely changed. It's probably not what we, it may be questioning tradition, what we traditionally had in our mind as a powerful leader, or as whatever our status we thought we wanted. That's probably changed to some degree. It's still me very much being the same type of category for energy, but I would say like the subcategory is different. So I think also this would be talking about having some type of intimacy as well when it comes to other people. I'm saying that because, again, this is stemming from our 8th house. I think of the 8th house as our internal world, how we feel, understanding people on a psychological level, but also like, okay, sorry. Hold on. So I think about depth. I think about being deep and having deep connections. So I think that's something that we're probably still yearning for as well. Some type of either a career that actually has meaning for us, that we feel deeply connected to, or we are literally trying to make something stable happen when it comes to definitely like becoming powerful leaders or seen as this, but also sharing resources, I think, with other people in some type of way. So somehow being connected to other people when it could be like an intimate partner, but something about sharing money with other people, which could connect back to making the dream happen. So maybe like, so what I mean by this is money on your own money in your own wallet is not good enough. So it's like, it's time to think outside the box, out of typical norms, in order to gain more resources. That's what I also think of too. And I could see this with Venus being in the 7th house in Libra, gaining money through, other people. All right, we spent way too much time on those two. All right, so the next day there is a new moon in Virgo in your 6th house. So with new moons, I definitely feel like if you're not seeing something new happen, then it's something internally. It's like an idea. It's a mind shift. There's just something new happening. Maybe you meet somebody on this day. And it's happening in your 6th house. So I think of either, again, something connected to work for you guys. Something that could be very healing. Something that could help you guys. I think of being like better organized in order to externalize a strategy to make something happen. Like getting real. Because Saturn being in retrograde in the 12th house in Pisces is on the same axis as the new moon in Virgo in the 6th house. The 6th house talks about your daily routine, but it also talks about work. It talks about trying to fix things in order to make them better. So since Mercury rules Virgo, and it's in your 5th house in Leo, I do think this energy will be connected to the new moon and what you guys can expect. So when Mercury is in Leo, I think of passion, I think of creativity, I think of playful energy, but also like the self. I do. I think of Leo energy as wanting to talk about itself and its accomplishments and the things it wants attention for. I think of a popular energy with Leo. And it's legitimately in the 5th house. So I think something like with manifesting some type of dream when it comes to your career or the way you're seen is going to connect back with being able to make it happen in a way that you actually want it to. It wouldn't be for status quo. It would literally like what opens your heart chakra. What are you guys passionate about? Again, when I think of Scorpio energy, I think of something deep, something intimate. And this is like what you guys are feeling when it comes to the 10th house energy. You guys want to be connected to something. I also think of magic with the 8th house. So I think like this is definitely an opportunity to create quote unquote magic for yourselves. But it would require work, okay? So that same day, September 2nd, we have Mars in Gemini in your 3rd house, and it's squaring Neptune in Pisces in the 12th house in retrograde. So I think, yes, like you guys will be feeling inspired. You guys will be feeling passionate, going back to an old idea or going back to something you feel like you haven't accomplished and redoing it, okay? And I think you'll be amped up, or your mind will definitely be on this in order to change the situation. However, when it comes to action, when Mars and Neptune are not placed well, and that's what a square is a block, it's friction, it's a holdup, it's basically like more work is required. That's what's happening here. It's like you can't physically act on a dream, or you cannot, or you'll have difficulty with having confidence or feeling brave enough to take action. You guys may be in your mind, your head, thinking, I can't do this. This isn't possible. Because with Mercury being in Leo, it's like you're really, you really want to take pride in what it is you do. And you also want to have fun doing it. It's like you want to do it, quote unquote, in Aries, in a sense, like do it your own way. And with that sun being in Virgo, it's like you'll be able to see all the holdups, the blocks, all the flaws that are wrong with this idea that you have for yourself. And with Neptune squaring Mars, I do think you guys will either have like a lack in confidence, or you'll just have an issue with somehow like acting on what it is you want to manifest. So if let's say you create some type of idea around the new moon in Virgo, how to make a dream a reality when it comes to the workplace or how you make your money, this transit kind of will like stop you in your tracks. You'll just be like, I feel like low in confidence, or like not believing the dream. Because when I think of Mars in Gemini, this is fast energy. It's fast moving. It's like Mars is already fast, okay? But when it's in Gemini, I feel like there is making like acting based off of talking or learning or traveling, moving around. It's literally like moving around and being able to move from A to Z by talking to random different people or friends and getting information from them and learning from that and being able to actually manifest something from the knowledge you've learned. And Neptune is more of a dreamlike energy. It doesn't mean it's necessarily just a dream. But a dream just remains a dream if you don't act on it, right? So these two are at odds with each other. So I think that's how you'll be feeling this. September 4th, Mars will then enter Cancer. So Mars is leaving your 3rd house, and it's going into your 4th house. What I think you guys will be feeling during this time frame, for some of you, there will be arguments with the mother. There will be arguments with the feminine, like not necessarily just females, but also it could be men with strong female energy, or just men that are deeply emotional, I want to say. I think also for you guys, this talks about conflict at home. It could be conflict with your emotions. I feel like this can be looked at as crybaby energy. So you guys may be feeling like, especially with that Neptune squaring Mars, like your dreams are like cannot happen for whatever reason. I also think of Neptune squaring Mars as a delay in travel for some of you, for sure. But once Mars is in Cancer, I see this as like argumentative energy at home in private. So like my mom, she's got Mars in her 4th house. And she has all these very public planets going on at the top of her natal chart. So everybody thinks like she's like this angel. Honestly, they really do. They love her and they feel bad for her when things happen to her, you know. But they don't get to see her Mars in the 4th house, which is like, it could be a very nasty energy. But it's not public, it's a private house. So I think for those of you that live at home, live with family, there will be arguments at home. I also see this as you guys, excuse me, having difficulty with your emotions and almost like arguing with yourself. Like, I think of this as definitely an emotional energy for sure. In Cancer, it's definitely emotional. And because Mars is here, it's like you guys may be more passionate or connected to whatever you want to make a reality, and be very emotional if things don't go out, like happen as planned, I want to say. In general, Aries squares Cancer, the 4th house. So there's already friction since Mars rules Aries. There is already friction here in general when these two collide. So yeah. Is there anything else I want to add to that? I do think for a lot of you, this is going to be some type of internal like turmoil when it comes to feeling blocked on being able to make something happen. And I just want to remind you guys not to get too discouraged, because Pluto literally just went back into Capricorn. So I feel like there would be delays for all of us in the very beginning. And that's what like starts out the ending of the journey for this, where it's like, it's going to be hard, you know, to get to the top of the mountain with whatever this is symbolic for you guys. But it can definitely happen. It's like the last test. Like, are you going to do it? September 6th, Mercury in Leo in your 5th house is squaring Uranus in Taurus in your 2nd house in retrograde. So I do see this as a delay in travel as well. I see this as a delay with something when it comes to wanting to do something, but being at odds because maybe the money isn't there for you guys. Or maybe it's like it goes against what you value. Maybe your friends want to do something, but you don't want to do whatever this is. Are you going to spend money and compromise? Because again, I think of Mercury in the 5th house in Leo, nonetheless, is more about like you guys wanting to have fun, but do things you want to do. And because Sun is the ruler of Leo and it's currently in your 6th house in Virgo, you know, it's positive but negative. And the reason for this is because Mercury rules Virgo, right? And the Sun rules Leo. You literally have them both in the same, like, they're right by each other is what I'm trying to say. So I do think like the things you may want to do, you may have like these conversations with yourself and realize like, this needs to be fixed, or this needs to be repaired. I need to compromise here. So you won't be getting your way 100% because you have to think of other people. Uranus rules Aquarius. This is talking about what the group wants, not what the self wants. So I do see that as coming up for you guys as well. And also, I think for some of you, it's going to be like talking about yourselves, like getting serious about your money or the things you guys value and how it's at odds with what it is you guys say you want versus like what you guys are actually doing to get it. September 7th, the sun in Virgo is in your 6th house, and it's in opposition to Saturn in Pisces in retrograde in the 12th house. So the sun opposing Saturn. Anytime there's an opposition, you have to remember that oppositions work better when they come together. So again, it's a compromise. It's going like 50-50 with someone just in order to see the bigger picture. Doesn't mean you're happy about whatever it is you're compromising, but it's like a wash almost. So when I think of Saturn, I think of restrictions, I think of rules, I think of boundaries, I think of time. And because it's in retrograde, you're thinking more so about these things. Where are you being held up and why? Why is more time required? What more work, because I think of Saturn work, what more work do you need to put in order to make this happen? I think you'll be able to see this more clearly with the sun. When I think of the sun, I think of light, being able to see through your higher self, a higher perspective. You may not like what it is you see, especially because it's in Virgo. You're going to be seeing all the flaws. But that's what I think this energy is talking about, Saturn opposing the sun. I think of also difficulty with vitality, your physical body, and being disciplined. It's like if you really don't want to do a 1-hour workout, well then do 30 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes during the day. So you do get the 1-hour workout, which is advised. You know, let's say that's, I don't know, something you were told. That's what I think could be happening here. It's like, you know what it is you need to do. Are you going to do it? Virgo energy is very like straight to the point. That's why it has difficulty with Pisces energy. Pisces energy will be very soft with its words, you know, like, yeah, you know what, I'm sure like you'll eventually get it and it'll just come together for you. And at that time, it'll be the right time. It was meant to be, you know, just a random example of what I'm thinking of general Pisces energy. Virgo energy is like, well, if you're claiming this is what you want, don't you think you should be taking action in order to actually get it? Are you doing the work? If not, then you shouldn't be complaining about it, because what are you really complaining about? You see the difference between the two? Virgo is very straight to it, but it's still trying to accomplish the same thing as Pisces, which is helping other people. Again, it just goes about it a different way. So, I feel like Saturn in Pisces is being more calm and softer when it comes to the work that you need to do, because it's in Pisces, it's more dreamlike, but the friction, the holdup is, how do you make it happen? Are you just going to let it sit in your mind, or are you going to do something? Are you going to do work? There's karma that comes along with this. So I think you'll be seeing that in some type of way. With Saturn opposing the sun, you may not be thrilled about it, but it's like, if you just do the work, or if you see the work that needs to be done, this will help you. September 8th, Pallas Athena enters Sagittarius. So Pallas Athena is leaving Scorpio in your 8th house, and it's entering your 9th house in Sagittarius. Pallas Athena talks about a strategy. It talks about, it's the asteroid that talks about, that can help you get you there. Wherever there is, whatever it is you're looking to accomplish during this time, it's like thinking in a Sagittarius type of way. will help you. So when I think of this, I think of typical things, luck. I think of blessings, believing in something bigger than yourself. Because Sagittariuses are known for being able to manifest. It's because they're ruled by Jupiter. So Jupiter is currently in Gemini, and it's in your 3rd house. So what will help get you guys there? I think it's going to be believing in your luck. I think it's going to be believing that anything is possible. I think it's going to be connected to whatever it is you learn during this time, but also confidence is what I think of. With Jupiter being in Gemini, I think of confidence. Especially with Mercury being in Leo, I think of also a confident mindset during this time. The reason I'm going back to Mercury is because when I think of a strategy, it's got to be connected to your thoughts, right? Where else would this, like, where would the strategy stem from? Like, what is a strategy and why do you have it? It has to do with something that's on your mind. So I feel like with Mercury being in Leo, I think this is going to have something to do with the strategy is manifesting things that you want to make a reality. And in order to do so, you guys need confidence in yourself during this time. I think of the 6th house as a healing house as well. So with the sun being in the 6th house, there is an emphasis here on your vitality being connected to the things you need to fix within yourself in order to heal, in order to manifest. So for some of you, I think this is going to be talking about eating or how you take care of your body, because I think of food as well as Taurus energy, and there's a retrograde happening here, right? And the sun, you're able to see something about your health. Do you guys have enough energy? If not, why? Are you on medication that you should be? Are you not on medication, but you should be? Do you need to add some type of exercise? Do you need to stop eating after a certain time? All these things really matter when it comes to our mindset on what we're able to do and not do. So I feel like something is definitely going on here, especially for some of you, because the North Node and Chiron in retrograde literally being in the 1st house, the body. So I think for some of you guys, you're feeling some type of discomfort when it comes to the body and needing to heal this. And I think once you feel like having vitality, like having all this energy in your body in a positive way and not being tired or sad or sick, whatever it is, it's like this will really help things for you. For some of you where this would be manifesting. So yeah. September 8th, that same day, Mercury enters Virgo. So Mercury is going to be at home where it belongs, quote unquote, because Mercury rules Virgo. And now it's back at home, okay? So I think for a lot of you, your thoughts will be on work. For some of you, I think your thoughts will be on how can I do better within myself? Like how can I get better? Better body, better mindset, more energy. There is a focus, because I think of Virgo energy as like the hospital as well. Well, it's not a hospital, but like doctors, getting the right treatments. It's literally paying attention to yourself, your health. So I think there will definitely be a health emphasis. I think for some of you as well, you'll be traveling for work. Yes, with Uranus and retrograde in the 2nd house in Taurus, some of you will be traveling. Excuse me. What else do I want to say? Because Mercury also rules Gemini and Jupiter's here, this also connects back to Pallas Athena in Sagittarius in the 9th house. Gaining information about what it is you need to do, feeling confident and making moves, and doing what needs to be done. September 11th, Mercury in Virgo in the 6th house is sextiling Mars in Cancer in the 4th house. So a sextile is, in a sense, it's it's a blessing. I always say trines are blessings, and they are. But sextiles, in a sense, they are too. Because as long as you put some type of work or energy into this, you're more than likely going to get whatever it is you wanted. It may not be exactly how you imagined, but you're going to get what it is you needed. So since Mercury is sextiling Mars, I think this is going to give you guys the energy to actually act on something. Now, will you guys do it is a whole other thing, but you're being given the energy to do something here, and the results could be good. It could be working from home, because I think of the 6th house as work, and then it's talking to the 4th house. Mars is action, it's confidence. So I think of like your emotions being balanced at this time mentally. I think of you like being in a good place, and this helps you in order to take action when it comes to work. And if it's not work, then it's like your emotions are well balanced in order to start exercising, to actually stick to a routine, because your mind will definitely be on things that need to be better in order for something to happen. So you may be taking action with cleaning at home, or cleaning at work. I don't know, something like that. But it would be stemming from like you're like feeling emotionally okay. All right. There wouldn't be a mental conflict, because when I think of Mercury and Mars talking to each other, I think of the positive thing with this is feeling confident enough mentally to take action, feeling gusto, feeling brave, okay? And when I think of this in a negative way, I think of conflicts, arguments, fighting. So I don't see this as arguments. I don't see this as fighting. And if it is, it would be like a positive turnout. It would be being able to have a conversation that maybe is a debate a little bit. It's a disagreement, but you're talking it out. I think that's a possibility too. But yeah, I think for most of you, this is going to be talking about physical stamina. Okay. September 12th, Sun in Virgo in the 6th house is squaring Jupiter in Gemini in your 3rd. So when I think of the Sun, I think of Jupiter, I think of fun energy. I think of loud energy. I think of confidence, because these are both fire planets, okay? The Sun is happiness, it's joy, and Jupiter is being confident enough to communicate what it knows, I feel like. Like, it is a wise teacher that has already gone within, and it wants to help other people go within as well in order to manifest, create something in their life. So when I think of the Sun and Jupiter squaring each other, it's some type of karmic lesson. It's a block. It's a holdup. So you guys may have difficulty. It's either going to manifest like this for you. It's either going to be that you have difficulty feeling happy that day, or you may feel so happy that like you end up overdoing it. So for example, like I saw somebody yesterday, he won $500. Literally, he was right in front of me. He got I don't know, a lottery thing. And he won. And so I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. And instantly I wanted to buy, the same type of lottery ticket he got, in hopes that, oh, maybe I'll experience that too. I didn't, but my point is that if you guys are feeling really confident and you had witnessed that, there's some people out there, like I know one of my uncles, he would have saw that and probably would have been like, okay, you know what? I'll buy 10 of them, because 1 out of the 10 has got to be a winning lottery, like something like that, where it's just like you're overdoing it, and you're overdoing like, your blessings, your luck, like just buy the one or two, whatever, but don't overdo it. There's a chance you guys may overdo something when it comes to communication, either communication at work or your friends, like telling them, you know, how good you're doing at work, or how good your, you know, your exercise routine is, or your routine in general. Like, you may be so proud of yourself that you just want to literally talk about this with other people, and it's like you overdo it. I think that's one way this could definitely manifest. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I just see these as loud energies, and they're not placed in the best way. So I think there would be difficulty with trying to express yourself. Like, your intentions wouldn't be clearly seen. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to say to that. Yeah, I also just see it as childlike energy. So you may overdo it with the childlike energy. Let's see, September 14th, Venus in Libra in your 7th house is trining Jupiter in Gemini in the 3rd house. So a trine, like I was saying before, this is a blessing. This is easy energy. So I think for some of you, it's going to be talking to romantic partners. Excuse me. Damn it. You could be learning about a potential business partnership, because I think of Venus as money as well. So you could be learning about somebody to invest money into during this time. Or you could meet somebody who wants to invest into you, whatever it is you're doing. I see this as just easy energy. So it's either energy that's being granted to you, or it's energy that just comes so naturally, so easily, you don't even notice it. I think also, did I say romance already? Communicating with potential romantic partners. Being at ease when it comes to talking to these people as well. Like, you would just come off as very confident and knowledgeable when it comes to, I think of selling as well, definitely, because these are both air signs, Gemini and Libra, so it's like smart intellectual energy. One is mutable and one is cardinal. So I think of being relatable, but also like starting something, doing something. I think for some of you, this is going to be talking about increasing your knowledge in order to maybe increase your wallet. Increasing the, like, meeting people, like potentially meeting new people that you would be doing business with. The reason I'm saying that as well is because Venus rules Taurus. And again, you guys have some type of shakeup, but going within with whatever these shakeups are. I think of Uranus also as freedom. So how can you be more freedom oriented when it comes to your money and how you make it? And Jupiter is a very freedom oriented energy as well. All right, so September 17th, there is a full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces in your 12th house. With full moons, I don't think these things are fully illuminated, just my personal opinion. Because when you look up at the full moon, you're not really seeing the moon, right? You're seeing the reflection of the sun's light. So I think that you will be able to partially see something or understand something. Especially more so like because it's a lunar eclipse. So with lunar eclipse, there are changes. So either you're going to like have some type of change when it comes to the dream, like what you guys actually want to do may change during this point because you may be able to see something more clearly. You may be able to see something or maybe you learned something because Jupiter is the original ruler of Pisces, right? And it's going to trine Venus the day before or what is it, 2 days before or 3 days before the full moon. So Jupiter trining Venus is a feel-good energy. So maybe whatever it is that happens during that time, you may realize like, okay, something needs to change with what it is I'm doing based off of what I learned. I think that's definitely a possibility, but I see this as more as like a mental illumination than something actually unfolding in front of you. Let's see, September 18th, the following day, Mercury in Virgo. Oh, that's what I did. I merged these two words together. Mercury. Okay, great. Wow. Mercury in Virgo in the 6th house is in opposition to Saturn in Pisces in retrograde. So, oh, that's funny. I'm saying that with a Mercury Saturn transit. So I feel like, again, so oppositions work best when they come together. It doesn't take away the inner conflict, right? Because think about when you compromise with people. Yes, okay, the turnout is usually good because you're still getting part of what it is you wanted, but you're also losing something, right? So I think whatever is illuminated for you guys during the full moon lunar eclipse, whatever changes for you guys, you now have to come to terms with this. And like, again, it cannot just stay in the mental plane. It's got to come out into the physical plane. So I think this is when Saturn is opposing Mercury. Like, are you acting on the things you know you have to do? When Saturn is opposing Mercury, there's difficulty with communicating. There's difficulty with, my opinion, I feel like traveling as well. So yeah, I just see this as the actual action based off of what it is you know you need to do now. And obviously it's going to connect back to your career, your status, how you make your money. The reason I'm saying that is because Saturn rules Capricorn and this is in your 10th house, but it's talking to your 6th house, your place of work. And then for those of you where it's not talking about work, then I think it's talking about your physical body. What are you guys doing? Like, where is the work? So if you think of this body you want in your mind, okay, cool, nice. Now, are you going to do it? Like, how do you get that body? So yeah, I think you guys are going to have to do the work with the things you already know you need to do. That's like in your mind when it comes to Virgo-like things. September 19th, we have the sun in Virgo in your 6th house. It's trining Uranus in Taurus in retrograde. So again, a trine is a blessing. It's easy energy. It's either being given to you or it just comes so naturally you don't even notice it. When the sun and Uranus are talking to each other, so these are two loud energies too, right? But I think of this as like the lightning bolt from spirit, from the divine, like some type of intuitive message or an intuitive knowing, and you're able to see it and understand it. Like it just comes naturally to you. So since Uranus is in your 2nd house in Taurus and in retrograde, and it's talking nicely to the sun in Virgo in the 6th house, I do think this has to do with your money. I do think this has to do with your confidence when it comes to how you make your money or how you deal with sudden things that may happen that may disrupt the plan. Having the confidence to know that it's going to work out and that these disruptions happen for a reason. I think that's for some of you. And then I think for others, this could be talking about what it is you guys value when it comes to your friends. Again, the reason I'm saying this is because Uranus rules Aquarius. So this is your group of friends. This is social networking. This is also the internet. So, for example, for some of you, this may play out where it's like you see something on the internet and you understand naturally. Like when people post captions, but like, you know, there's some type of secretive message, or like, it's not necessarily a secretive message. I forgot the term for this, but it's like when people are intentionally vague on like social media, it's like to entice you, whether they're consciously aware of it or not. It's not that it's intentional manipulation, but it is to get you, somebody out there, to think. And they did this without being direct. So yeah, I feel like if you see something like this on the internet, you would be able to see through it and understand it. It's kind of like when celebrities are fighting with each other publicly, but they don't pull an Aries, which if we're fighting with people publicly, we're just gonna be like, yeah, Joe from down the block sucks, you know, and like, we're just gonna do it in the most like obvious way because we don't give a shit, right? But most people aren't like that, right? That's why most people have an issue with us. Most people would be like, yeah, so this maybe older males that live 2 blocks down the road really have some type of inferior complex issue. I don't know, something like that. Like, it's vague, but let's say you know that person who's making the post, and you know that, like, I don't know, they get into arguments or something like that with their neighbors. That's what I'm thinking too. It's like you would be able to see through it and understand like what it is they're really trying to say. And the reason I'm saying this is because Uranus, we can look at this as the internet, but also intuition, also groups of people. All these planets, there's different codes to decipher as to which one it's going to play out, right? Manifest. That's how I see this. The sun, I see as light and being able to see. I also see this as being confident. I also see this as being playful. September 21st, the following day. Wait, no, I'm sorry. September 20th, the following day. Sun in Virgo is in opposition to Neptune in retrograde in Pisces in the 12th house. So when the sun opposes Neptune, this can be positive, okay? Excuse me. My goodness. It can be positive because oppositions are asking you to come together, to compromise. So I think of this as a potential creative energy when it comes to work. I also think of, like, for example, if you know you need to start exercising, but you don't like exercising, okay, what else can you do? Start thinking, start daydreaming. What other exercises are there that you can do in order to meet the time criteria that you need to exercise per day? So I think of this as potentially yoga, where it's like you still don't want to do anything physically, but you know you need to do it. Okay, you're compromising. So now you're going to do something that's a little more chill, a little more laid back, but it's still going to help you physically with your health. I also think of this as being able to see through your own bullshit. Like being able to, like, okay, what were you daydreaming about? And what parts of the daydream can you actually make a reality? And what's too far out there? You know, like, did you want to make $1 million this year, but you're not even in like the bracket right below that? You know what I mean? The financial bracket. So it's like, that's too much of an extreme, and you would be able to see it and be able to compromise. Like, okay, you know what? Maybe I just want to make X amount instead of $1 million by the end of this year as my goal. So yeah, I do see like Neptune as either being intuition or illusions, but because it's talking to the sun in a way where there could be something positive, I think you can be able to see through the daydreams and what can actually, you know, work and what will not work. September 21st, Sun in Virgo in the 6th house is trining Pluto in Capricorn in your 10th house in retrograde. So I like this. I like when the Sun and Pluto are talking to each other because, in a positive way, because there's something transformational happening. There's something changing, and it's in a positive way for you guys. It's not a lot of hard work. It's something that comes natural. So I think if you see something at work that is, let's say, holding you back when it comes to, like, maybe it's a personal routine. Like, I remember I used to do this thing where, because I used to travel like almost an hour and a half Monday through Friday every day to get to work. And I was like, you know what? I can't get up earlier than I'm already getting. Like, I just can't do it. I would try for months. I'd set my alarm clock and I would just snooze it. And I was like, okay, but I want to take time and do my makeup right. Because I hate when you always can see a rushed makeup job. It's just something's off with that person physically. And I hated that. So I said, okay, if I can't wake up early for whatever reason, then I'm just going to bring my makeup with me and I'm going to do my makeup in the car. And that'll be that. So that's what I used to do. So I saw something that needed to change, and it was something accessible. Like, it was something I could do and manage. That's what I think of with the sun trining Pluto. You see something that needs to be fixed, worked on, and you're able to actually make the change. I see this as an action change. I don't see this as something you see that needs to happen, and that's like the astrology part of it, where you see something you never saw before. Like, no, I don't think this is that. I think you're seeing it and you're doing it, and it wouldn't be something hard. So I think this is gonna connect back to work, or a physical exercise, or because of how you're seen, or your routine, and something changing here, which would actually help you guys connecting it back to work and how you're seen. Okay. September 22nd, the sun enters Libra. This is also the fall equinox. So the sun is leaving Virgo in your 6th house, and it's entering your 7th house. So a few different things I want to discuss, because now you have a stellium going on in your 7th house in Libra. So with the sun traditionally rules Leo, as we discussed before, right? It's your 5th house. With the sun, there is a connection to your higher consciousness. You're able to see. There's more of a focus wherever the sun is transiting, and it's in Libra. So there's something about seeing how to make relationships work, seeing how to have fun in relationships. I also think of this as being seen in general. So you will be seen as somebody who either knows and understands balance when it comes to harmony with other people, or literally people will be seeing you as a romantic partner, especially with Venus being here, okay, and Juno. I think of this also as a popular energy. So I do think this will be like, you will be the person people will want to connect with when it comes to partnering up, doing business, some type of commitment. But I also think, again, this has to do with romance. Because especially with Uranus being in retrograde in your 2nd house, it's like either you guys will emphasize what it is you guys want in relationships, putting it out there and feeling confident about it, and or other people will be feeling this way about you guys when it comes to relationships and valuing you guys. I also see this as a friendship type of vibe, like doing business with friends or dating friends, again, because Venus rules Taurus and Libra. And because you have Uranus and retrograde in your 2nd house, what do you guys value? Is it friendships? I think you guys will be able to see something more clearly when it comes to this. I also see this again as, doing business in a playful way, having fun. I also see this as wanting to go out, wanting to be in a relationship, potentially meeting somebody on the internet, because Uranus rules the internet. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Yeah, no, I see this more as romance though. Okay, September 22nd, that same day, Venus in Libra is squaring Pluto in retrograde in Capricorn in your 10th house. So there is a block, there's a holdup when it comes to either business relationships or commitment. I see this as like the issue being power trips. When Pluto and Venus are talking to each other in a negative way, there is some type of control. There's some type of manipulation going on. I really just think of power dynamics and a power struggle. So for some of you, it's going to play out with finances, money, dealing with people that have actual power when it comes to traditional like things and doing business with them. I see this as an issue there. So for example, somebody says the bill is due for, I don't know, whatever it is you guys pay each month for. But maybe they increased the rate and they weren't fair, they weren't open, they weren't honest about this with you. And so they just send you the invoice. Then I see this as an issue, right? And they thought they could just do this because they are Pluto in fucking Capricorn. And it's like, no, actually you can't, because that's not proper business etiquette, whatever, or it wasn't in the agreement. I think of Libra, 7th house is signed contracts to legal contracts. So I do see this as some type of issue around this time frame for you guys when it comes to who you guys are giving money to. And if it's not money, then I'm going to say it's definitely power dynamics with people you guys are either dating or you're interested in. Oh, definitely. Because that same day, Venus then enters Scorpio. So your resources, shared resources for some of you. I think there will definitely be some type of power dynamic with Pluto being in Capricorn and retrograde and then Venus being in Scorpio. The reason I'm saying this is because Pluto rules Scorpio and it's in the 10th house of tradition, like a stoic type of energy, no feelings, like not displaying the feelings, but deep down there's feelings. Venus in Scorpio, 8th house, deep feelings, a lot of feelings. September 24th, Mercury in Virgo, trining Uranus in Taurus. I think of this also as having issue with people you guys do business with and not being in agreement with the rules that go along with this, or the contract that was put together. I see this as a disruption there as well. So maybe the gym increased their monthly, I don't know, your monthly invoice by $3, but didn't tell you about it. That's how I see that playing out. September 24th, Mercury in Virgo in your 6th house is trining Uranus in Taurus in retrograde in your 2nd house. So the trine, again, is a blessing. It's easy energy. I do see this as traveling going well. I see this as conversations going well that maybe were a disruption when it came to your wallet, your money, the things you value. So if, let's say, an honest conversation needs to happen, it's like that would be the time where it would come naturally, but also like in a pleasing way. It's like being able to talk about the disagreements, Taurus, throat chakra, Mercury, conversations, talking, thought process, when it comes to how something should have been done. I do see this as a good energy with conversations, even if it's not conversations where you both agree. September 25th, Mercury in Virgo in the 6th house is in opposition to Neptune in Pisces in retrograde in the 12th house. So Mercury opposing Neptune, again, oppositions work best together. And I think this is being able to communicate a dream that you guys have. And let's say somebody gives you the criticism about the dream. It's like you can understand their criticism or their issues, or maybe this is just you discussing your ideas on, you know, why you think something they did should be fixed or something they did is wrong. And it's like again, almost like an open conversation where you both don't agree on something, but you come to terms with it. You got to meet them 50-50. You got to meet them halfway. Being open to criticism around that time. That's what I think of too. September 25th, that same day, Mercury in Virgo in the 6th house is trining Pluto in retrograde in Capricorn in the 10th house. Exactly. So it's like you may receive criticism. You may receive some type of truth around this time. And it may hurt you a little bit. But at the same time, it's something that will help you when it comes to your career, when it comes to your status, when it comes to what it is you're trying to build. That's what I think of. I think of your mind changing, your thoughts changing, based off of something you didn't expect. That's what I think of. Like hearing something that needed to be fixed and you knew it deep down, but now you're hearing it outside and you're able to make the change and it comes naturally. That's what I think of. Because it connects to some type of deepness within you is what I think. September 26th, Mercury enters Libra. So Mercury will be leaving your 6th house. It will be entering your 7th house. I think of, again, signed contracts, conversations about legal commitments, legal contracts. I think of conversations about relationships. I think of conversations that are happening on the internet. So I think of dating apps. I think of conversating or text messaging with people you're talking to, dating. Mercury rules Virgo and it rules Gemini, your 3rd and your 6th house. Yeah, I think there is going to be an emphasis on conversating with people. I feel like it connects back to friends. Conversating with friends, maybe doing business with friends. Some type of financial commitment. Yeah. September 29th, Mars in Cancer in your 4th house will be trining Saturn in Pisces in retrograde in the 12th. So Mars and Saturn, even though they're both malefic planets, they're going to be talking to each other in a positive way. So I think this is talking about like this energy coming naturally to you when it comes to having boundaries with your emotions. Like, if you guys have been having conflicts at home, if you have been having conflicts with females or men with strong emotional energy, it's like you would be able to not be so uptight about this during this time or so emotionally connected on a personal level. It would like you would be able to restrict your mind when it comes to making things personal. That's how I think of this energy as well. And then for some of you, I think it's going to be talking about taking action when it comes to something that needs to be worked on, yes, with your emotions, but also something to do with the home. September 30th, the next day, Sun in Libra in your 7th house is conjunct Mercury in Libra in the 7th house. So during this time, so when the Sun and Mercury are conjunct and they're next to each other, they're getting along, there's like an emphasis, like you're able to, well, number one, be more positive during this time, more happy, but also an emphasis on relationships. Something is happening here that is heightened, and you'll be able to be confident about this, but also positive, and be able to see things clearly. I think also your conversations, they would be good around this time with other people. Yeah, and just understanding the art that goes along with Libra energy, which is a balancing act. It really is. It's like when you compromise, but it doesn't feel like you're compromising because you know you're being fair. There's no room for like selfish energy. And it's funny because when I think of the sun in general and how this rules the 5th house and traditionally Leo energy, the sun can definitely be selfish. It can be, because the sun is you guys. It is literally you yourself. But because it's in Libra, there's something going on with relationships and understanding the scales and being able to communicate this as well. I think of this as a very business-oriented energy, if I'm being honest, but also getting along with people you guys are in relationships with or dating. And like not understand, and understanding that things don't need to be perfect, again, because I think of Libra as a compromise energy. Something is being compromised in order to please. And as long as you don't overdo either one, like it's about balance. It's a balancing act. So yeah, I think that's all I got for you guys. I just want to make sure I discussed everything. The North Node being in your 1st house, there is an energy, a pull about doing things your way or accomplishing the things you guys want to accomplish for yourselves. For some of you, this is going to be about the body. For some of you, you're trying to heal the body with Chiron being in retrograde in the 1st house. Trying to come up with some type of physical routine during this time, especially with an emphasis in Virgo. Uranus in retrograde in your 2nd house, there will be a going within energy on your relationship with money and the things you guys value. This will connect with business, people you do business with, as well as dating or in a relationship with. Jupiter Gemini in your 3rd house, being confident about teaching whatever it is you know. So speaking about things you know, providing knowledge to other people, potentially friends, people you know, close to you. Mars being in your 4th house in Cancer, there may be some type of inner turmoil, some type of anger you experience at home in private. And it would connect all based on like your feelings, your emotions. Are your emotions being fulfilled at this time? And I think there's going to be some type of conflict with that because Mars rules the 1st house and you guys have Chiron here. Mars is also the original ruler of Scorpio. And when this is transiting, there will be nothing during this time in Scorpio until at the end of the month, Venus will enter Scorpio. So I think it's inner turmoil about yourself. I see this as inner conflict. And for those of you that are living with other people, I do think you'll experience crybaby energy is what I want to say. Let's see, 5th house, Leo, Mercury will be in the 5th house. And when that's happening, I think you guys will want to talk about yourselves. I think you guys will want to talk about, your accomplishments. You guys want to be seen. You guys want to be loved, okay? I think of the 6th house Virgo with Sun, Vesta, the new moon, and the Mercury transits. Excuse me. Mercury then goes into Virgo, sorry. Things that need to be fixed, worked on. You guys need to be open to criticism during this time in order to do better when it comes to either your body, your health, or work, okay? I think of this also as social networking, conversating with other people in order to make things happen. But when the sun is in your 6th house, you'll be seen at work. People will notice you. You'll be seen as a hard worker. You'll be seen as like the favorite, honestly. Libra, we have the South Node, we have Venus, Juno, and then later on the Sun and Mercury enters here. I think you guys will definitely, there will be an emphasis on relationships during this time. If you're not in a relationship, you will be thinking about relationships. You will be thinking, you'll be more inclined to get this right, quote unquote, because of the South Node being in the 7th house. This will be based on past experiences. And looking for soulmate energy, but looking for the things you guys want due to past wounds, Chiron being in Aries in that 1st house. I think you guys will also be popular during this time when it comes to relationships. Like, people will want to date you with the Sun and Venus being in there. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I also, now that I'm thinking of it, with Venus then entering Scorpio in the 8th house, I feel like you guys may at this time develop a private relationship, or a secret relationship, something like that, because the 8th house is also hidden. So I always connect it back to the 12th house as well, where something like secretive is going on, and it's either good or bad. So yeah, I do. I think of this as either having feelings for other people and keeping it private, or vice versa. This is how people could be feeling about you guys. Once Venus enters Scorpio in your 8th house, I think you guys will, for some of you, this is going to be talking about shared resources, gaining money off of other people. I just don't see this as like gaining money through intimate partners only. I just don't. I think, yes, gaining money through people you are intimate with, like, and I don't mean sexually. I just mean like people you have deep connections with. You guys may be gaining money through them. I think of Venus and Scorpio as well as kind of like 5 of Cups in reverse, the past coming back. So I think for some of you guys, this will be talking about Uranus in retrograde, a redo with the things you guys value, because Venus rules Taurus. It also rules Libra. I just think something deep will be going on. Also, you may be spending money on 8th house things during that time. Okay, Pallas Athena in the 9th house in Sagittarius, believing in something bigger than yourself. I think the strategy will change from intimacy, going deep, going within what it is you want, to actually manifesting this. That's what Sagittarius energy is, law of attraction. There may also be a strategy to learn as well, with Jupiter being in Gemini in the 3rd house, and then Pallas Athena in Sagittarius. You guys may be learning. You guys may be learning about other countries or things outside of your local community. With Saturn, Neptune in that 12th house, yeah, I do think that is one way this could play out for some of you as well. But I think of this as more of a manifesting energy, especially with Venus and Scorpio. Capricorn, Ceres, the asteroid Ceres, how do you guys, like, what would nurture you guys? What would help you guys during this time? It would be through practical, like, things. So imagination, no bueno. I mean, yeah, like, it's good in the sense that that's what helps you create something, manifest something. But you need to actually, it would be practical and healing for you guys to actually act on these things during this time. That's what Ceres and Capricorn is telling you. Do something that would like be more traditional, I guess, or just practical is what I want to say. Pluto going back into Capricorn, your 10th house in retrograde. Do you guys feel like a leader? Do you guys feel like a boss? How do you guys want to change this and act on it? Okay. I see this also as something deep, meaning to you guys when it comes to how you're seen, what your legacy is, and what you guys are doing for a living. Aquarius, nothing's going on this month. Yep, Pluto will have left. So yeah, you just got that. I think there will be a question of what it is you guys value when it comes to your group of friends, your group of people. Also the internet and your voice, speaking. 12th house, Pisces, we have Saturn in retrograde, Neptune in retrograde, and then we have full moon, lunar eclipse. I think with Saturn and Neptune, I'll keep saying it, especially with both going into retrograde, this is talking about manifesting your dreams and not freezing up, not locking up, and, you know, like, it's go time right now. Are you going to make these things a reality? Or are you going to let your fears hold you back? Or are you just going to let it stay in the mental plane? That's what I think of too. What else? With the full moon lunar eclipse, something is going to, there will be some type of mental, I don't want to say epiphany, but you'll be able to see something that needs to be worked on, fixed, that changes the dream a little bit. And it's definitely going to connect back to your dream-like energy when it comes to work. The things that you literally want to manifest, something will change when it comes to this. So yeah, that's what I got. That's what I got. That's what I got for you guys for the month of September. Please let me know if any of these things ends up happening, manifesting. I would greatly appreciate it. And yeah, man, we're out of August. Thank God. August was rough. I don't know if it was just like a rising Libra thing or an Aries thing, if you guys felt that, but whoa. So yeah, we're out. We're out. Thank God. All right. Bye, guys.